I've been looking for.
Back up a little bit, what were you saying?
Oh, but I was.
Yeah, I assume you were talking about Cecil, but I'm.
Yeah. Well, see, what happened was, you know, I want to help people get some jobs because, see, the thing is, like, when I first came, I didn't have in my mind what I was going to do. I wasn't sure whether this is what I was going to do. You know, I just figured I'd get my foot in the door and just kind of peep things out a little. And once I did that, it was like I heard Cecil talk, and I wasn't so much worried about myself. I was just worried about what he can do for the people. You know, what are you willing to do for them? Because I was going to get mine anyways. And once he got to telling, it was like, yeah, this is it, man. This is what I want to be a part of. This is what I'm about. I guess this is what I've been looking for a while. But more or less, I've also been kind of looking for a way out, whether it was illegally or legally. But I was always taught from my father, no matter what you do, be the best at what you're at. You know what I'm saying? So I took the bad road. You know, was being crooked, being a, you know what I'm saying, a hood, you know, a criminal, or whatever you want to call it, whatever people call it. And I just was good at what I was at. And I figured, well, I'm getting tired of it. I did a little time. Now I have a son. I have a family. You know, I can get a job. And after all, if things don't work, I can always turn back to what I was doing before. Then, you know, I have someone who's there by my side, which is my baby's mother. Been together 5 years, and she told me, why even turn back? She said, you can make an honest living, you know. So I was like, start thinking about it, and then just that Saturday came, and here Cecil came with the rest of his staff, man. And when I'm in school, before school is out, for about an hour, we have an open conversation. And I seem to always take control of that conversation. I'm always the last one to talk, and everyone sits down and listens to me, even including the teacher. You know, if anything, I'm supposed to be sitting down listening to him. He listens to me. You know, and I always end by saying, you know, am I wrong or am I right? I just like to know whether I'm right or wrong. And the teacher, hey, you're right. So I said, well, damn. And since I was little, my father used to tell me that, first of all, my name's not Alex, it's Alexander. See, but I go by Alex. All right, and he told me that Alexander means leader of men. He said since the time I was little that I've always been that way. We go to some family get together or a party or something. We sit down, and I take off out the house, just kick it outside, cold chill and relax, just by myself. And some other kids would kind of look over there, hey, who's that over there, you know? And they'd crowd around, hey, what's your name? I wouldn't say Alex. Oh, hey, his name's Alex, you know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, I walk off to the store or something, I got a whole little group behind me. So he said, no matter where we went, I've always led some kind of crowd. As I got older, it was the same way, always bigger kids following me, no matter how old they were. And it seemed like no matter what I do, it just seems to be that way. Then I got into the life that I was living, and you know, I was kind of one of the main people doing wrong. You know, if there was something right that happened, somebody was trying to do good for the people, I was like, you know, check this out, man, we can't let that, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. They be like, yeah, that's right. I just used to put myself on the line for a lot of them people out there because they're my partners. You know, I kind of been on my own since I was young. I never had nobody but my partners. So I used to put myself on the line for them, knowing they wouldn't tell on me. I mean, because if you tell on your partner, I mean, who can you trust? That's all you have is yourself and them. And I was good at what I was at. But then now that I have a son and everything, I'm trying to make that change. And now it seems like Cecil's put me in charge of something. You know, I know I'm doing something good. I'm not sure what I'm doing good, but whatever it is, it's coming out good. So, and my father was telling me, it never seems to amaze me. Been like that since you were little. You know, so.
When you mentioned earlier about, you know, talking up in class and, you know, getting people to listen to you, even the teachers and all that, where does that come from? How
what do you mean?
That you have that ability to, people want to really listen to what you have to say?
I don't know. I think I take after my father. See, my father's a good man. You see, I look up to my father. I love my father. And when I was younger, I looked like my mother. As I got older, now I look like him, and I've taken after a lot of his ways. You know, I like to joke around with people and make them laugh, you know, tell jokes or something, you know. But then also I like to keep to myself to a certain point. Just if I have a problem, I don't talk about them. You know, I like to be able to talk about my problems, but, you know, throughout the years, you know, every time I've trusted someone, they've done me wrong. They've stabbed me in my back. Only people that's never done me wrong was some of my partners that were out there. Now, there's some of them, they're no good, you know, but, you know, they also have a good side to them, too. And some of them good sides, the good side, I've been one of them people to be able to reach out and touch that good side. You see, to be able to get down and know what's bothering them, so that things that they don't tell other people. And I feel good about that, because it's like, damn, you know, they trust me. You know what I'm saying? And so I think I just get it from my father. You know, which is, you know, I'm glad. You know, the only thing about it is, I know I'm on camera, but I'm just going to say this, man, because I want people to know. You know, one of the main reasons why I got into helping people is because of my father. And that's because he's homeless. You know, these people, you know, he's paying child support for my sister, which is not his daughter. And he keeps trying to fight to tell these people, you know, this ain't my daughter, you know, how are you gonna make me pay, you know, $20,000? That's my money that I shouldn't be paying for someone who's not mine. You know, I pay for my son, which is me. He said he'll pay for me, but he's not gonna pay for her. It's not right. They started taking money from him. Got to where he couldn't pay rent. I mean, well, he was paying the rent, but he couldn't pay the utility bills. That got cut off. That he couldn't even get food. The little food he got, he left it with his wife, you know, for her to eat. He couldn't eat because his little part he had to use for toll fare to go to work. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even have much of that, because so he had to stay in Oakland sometimes for a couple of days just to, you know, park in front of his job so he could just go in, and where he wasn't needed, he started getting weak. Got to where he couldn't even pay his rent after a while because he was selling things he owned. And he barely made that. Then it was to where he couldn't pay his union dues. It was like they were just tearing him up, and he lost everything he had. Everything he owned, he lost, including his marriage. They tore him up decent. Well, they didn't tear him up decent because there's nothing decent about what they did. When my father went to him to explain what they were doing wrong to him, they were like, oh, we shouldn't have did this. This is wrong. He was like, I explained that to you. You know, why did you do it? You know, I mean, I explained it to you from the start. And they were saying they were supposed to take in some money, but within reason, to where he still had a home, and, cause, you know what I'm saying, and had food in his mouth. They took away everything. Now he's homeless. He couldn't pay his union dues, so he lost his job. You know, and they took so much money to where it's like now he don't even have a job to even make any money. So I'm trying to help him, and that's kind of more or less what made me want to help people, because there's some people out there. There's people out there who want to be out there, but there's people, man, that's out there who have no business being out there. My father was a welder for I don't know how many years. The Hilton Hotel, the rails that he done, the brass rails and all those other wrought iron rails, he made those. And he got out there and busted his to get that done. You know what I'm saying? Always, and he was good at what he was at. You have to go from a apprentice to an apprentice. He started from a helper. He started from not dirt but dust, to dirt, and to, you know what I'm saying, to up higher and higher, and to where he became a journeyman. He worked so many years after a journeyman that to where they don't consider him a journeyman. He's a master mechanic at what he does. That's what they call him, and he's good. Anytime there was jobs, Patrick, I want you to take over this job and help us. You know what I'm saying? He was the best in every shop he went to. Could nobody do the work that he do. And this is what they did. They tore him up. You know, and this is what he gets for busting his ass to make other people look good. You know, so when they walk in their building, they look good. You know what I'm saying? For the work he doing, he just worked hard. You know, he paid his taxes, he paid his due. He did all kind of things. He always went out his way for people, worked overtime, and wouldn't expect nothing. You know, oh, don't worry about it. You don't have to. I'll do this for you. You know, this guy didn't finish. Oh, I'll take care of that. Even on the weekends, he used to do work, you know, help people in their yards or whatever, and, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And never asked for nothing.
Sounds like my dad, too. It's the same way I was raised. If there's a need, fill it.
He always worried about somebody else instead of worrying about himself.
And that's a big influence on you. And how is it that, you know, we were taping in Valencia Gardens, and, I mean, there's something that's been going on there a long time, but I feel like I'm way on the outside, and I'm not only behind the camera, but, you know, I live in a different part of town, and, you know, it's just real foreign.
You know,
what is the situation there, and how did it get going?
I don't know. I really don't understand what you're saying. I mean, where are you trying to get at?
Well, with the fact that you got people coming from the outside and some from the inside to clean up the place, that people feel so strongly about it.
As far as that, well, see, because, man, we're all in the same position, man. I mean, put it this way. Put it this way. It doesn't matter whether you're black, Mexican, Spanish, Indian, Puerto Rican. If you're not white, you're black. You see what I'm saying? And the black man can't get it like the white man can. You see what I'm saying? And so we're all in the same position. Regardless whether you don't live in the project, you live somewhere else. You know, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's people who can, you know, who are minorities, get what the white man can, but now you can't get it like the white man can. So if you ain't white, man, you're black, and we're all suffering the same thing, especially being, once you're in the projects, it's so hard to get out. Once you get on welfare, it's so hard to get off. Because once you get on there, man, they start trying to give you more money. Yeah, come in and we'll give you this, and we'll give you, to where they make it so people don't even want to get off. They get lazy, hanging around the house all the time. They don't even want to work, you know. And so they get stuck in this little place, this hellhole. That's what it is. It's a doorway to hell. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. And they get caught up in their own little world. And what happens is people, you know, there's people who struggle and fight to try to get out, but being so depressed and worn out, and it leads to depression, man. They might get high or something. They start from drinking. Next thing you know, they might smoke weed. Then they laced it with crack. Now they didn't have weed, so they just smoked the crack alone or anything. However they got to it, or just smoking it, you know, they started from crack, whatever. But once they got hooked, man, that was it. But they still remember where they came from. It's just a sickness. So that when something good happened, man, it was good because I was a part of it. I was the one that got people to paint. You know, it was a good feeling. And people was like, yeah, that's right. You know, and people want this, man, because when they see something good, it makes them remember, wow. Man, they start thinking about, you know, before they was on this thing, and it gives them hope. It shows them that there's still a chance. You know, they tried to get, you know, some people tried to get off dope before, and they were doing fine for a month or two, and they went back to it. You know, and they're like, wow, man, it's just, you know, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's just people who wasn't there, you just had to have just been there to see it. It got to where after the walls were painted, it wasn't about the walls anymore if they got painted over. It was about the people. It was a totally different change in the people. People were lined up. People that don't even speak to each other were talking to each other, you know, smiling, having a good time, just kicking away, you know what I'm saying? They were lined up, getting a little something to eat, and it was just great. You know, I didn't even want to pay the people for a little while because I just wanted them to stay there together for a while just to be able to just get to know each other. It was a good feeling. It was like, damn, I did this. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, people were just willing to get out there and help, you know, help make some good. That's all. They just wanted to help make some good, man. I mean, you got all this bad stuff out there, you know, where's the good, you know? And once they seen it, they just wanted to be a part of it.
Now, more specifically, how did you help organize this?
Well, I live in Valencia Gardens. I grew up there. And I remember when it used to be a nice place. I was told it was even nicer than that, you know, before then, but it was nice no matter what time of day you came out. It was, you know, the sun was out. People drink their little beer. Nothing wrong with smoking a little weed. I don't smoke weed, but sometimes people smoke a little weed, listen to their music, and no matter kids playing around, running back and forth, chasing the dog playing around with the kids, or playing, playing basketball or baseball, anything. Go to the back, where there was a recreation. People used to go on trips. It was nice. It was fun. Then the stain came out. The drug that that was put out there to keep the minority down. It changed everything around. And I seen these changes. And being there around it all the time, I eventually ended up getting into it. And I've always been, I used to do some wrong. But I did it because I had to do it. Because like I said, since I was young, I was kind of like on my own. And I had to make my money before I could go to school. So by the time I made some ends, school was almost over. And by the time I was able to go to school, the year was almost through. So it was like, what's the use of going this year? Well, I probably wouldn't even be able to go now. I wouldn't have learned nothing. And but just because I was doing what I was doing didn't mean I liked it. No one likes it. Everyone's just trying to find a way out. And so I was like, damn, being that I live there, see, some people try to speak for the people. Yeah, I speak for the people, and they don't even live there. How are you going to speak for the people? You live in some house above the hill looking over the whole city. How are you going to speak for the people? You got to be there living with the people. You got to see what they see. You got to hear what they hear. You got to feel what they feel. You got to live the way they're living to understand. And it's like, and I was living it. And all I knew was what changes that I seen being made from good to bad. And it's like, I started thinking, only if this place was painted. Only if our bathtub wasn't stopped up, we wouldn't have to take showers with the water stopped up to our knees. You take a clean shower, you're clean from the knees up, the knees down, you got goop all up on your legs. Only if our toilet didn't overflow and have to constantly mop the floor because it was overflowing. The plunger don't do the job. Only if we didn't have, this place. If you're gonna have mice anywhere you go, but only if the wood was fixed inside the cabinets on the bottom. The mice couldn't get in and out where your pots are and find mouse shit all over your pots and pans. Where my son likes to go and play in the cupboards. Had he grabbed one, it could have been bit. And we hear him crying, don't know what he's crying about. Later on, we find out he's got rabies, anything. So I started thinking, damn. And then I watched this movie. It was called The Warriors. They had this dude Cyrus, it was like pulling people together, It was like, damn. Then, then you think about other leaders who were out there and made a change for the people. And I was like, damn. How can I help make a change when I'm doing something wrong? And I started thinking, well, damn, even though I'm doing something wrong, even if I'm putting myself on the line, because I consider myself a good person, although I did wrong, because I got out there and hustled for my money. I never took from anyone. I never robbed from anyone. I never cheated anyone. Don't get me wrong, if somebody gave me an extra $1 than what they were supposed to, I wouldn't have saying that was their loss, but I never took from anyone, so I consider myself good because I put myself on the line to bust my ass and struggle and hustle for mine instead of hurting somebody else. If you're going to hurt yourself, if people are going to hurt, they just let them hurt themselves, but I'm not going to be a part of it. And so I started thinking, oh damn, maybe I can do bad, but somehow there's a way that some good can come out of it for the people, the kids. And then, maybe you can help, get something started for little kids, and they can get out of the project, see other things instead of projects, show them that there's other things in life. And that's kind of like when I met Cecil Williams. It was like, damn, this is it. This is the opportunity to maybe instead I don't have to do this anymore. Maybe I can go to school, finish going to school. I was going to school for a month already, but finish school, be able to have a job, learn other trades, and help people, get some kind of program started, get the place cleaned up to where, the people see that there's hope and there's a change and they can help manage their own place. What do we need a manager for? She don't do her job. You know what I'm saying? She don't worry about the people, you know what I'm saying, in that apartment over there, in that apartment over there, but they do because they might be family. But they were, you know, they were willing to get out there and make that change. So why not just have the people manage the place themselves, but just have someone that kind of guides them and looks over. You know what I'm saying? That's how I might be wrong, but that's how I see things. You know, I don't know if I'd be saying some of these things. You know, knowing I'm on camera, some of these people are gonna hear. But it's like, man, like Ice-T say on one of his raps, man, freedom of speech. You know. Yeah, fucking we in America, you know. Well, this is California, you know. It's San Francisco. I'm gonna say what I want to say, but man, because it's right is right and wrong is wrong.
You hadn't met Cecil before.
No, I've heard about him.
You heard about him, and how did?
I always looked up to him because
Yeah, when I asked, what did you think about him before, and then after meeting him, did it meet up with what you had thought?
Well, see, I always thought he was good, and I always looked up to him. Cecil Williams, I used to always see like on the news sometimes or on TV. I admire anybody who's doing right for the people. I knew I was doing wrong, and if I was able to do right, that's the way that I'd want to take. But being that I wasn't able to, it's like sometimes people ain't willing to reach out there and sometimes there's people out there crying for help, but they're just afraid to reach for it. But sometimes if there's someone who can come along and just, they can see it in your eyes whether you want help or not, whether you're willing to change. So sometimes they need a little boost, and that's Cecil Williams, man. He gets out there with the people, man, and he grab you and you know what I'm saying, whether he got the struggle, he'll help pull you up. But we're gonna walk, we're gonna make it to that other side. You know what I'm saying? You and me, man, together. I'm gonna help. You know what I'm saying? That's him. So I've always looked up to him. I said, man, that's proper. You know what I'm saying? Brother's righteous. You know what I'm saying? But I just was on a different kick.
Then after you met him, what was that? Did it turn out to be that way?
After I got to meet him, I mean, I always liked him. But man, it's like after I got to meet him, man, I was able to love him for who he was. You know what I'm saying? It was like, damn, you know, that's what keeps it. That's what I find keeps this place together, man. It's like some people are here voluntarily, some people are just here to rehabilitate, someone's here working with. It's love that keeps this place together. You know, that's what it is, man. It's like, damn, it's so much love here, man, that if you know, I mean, if I was to even think of walking away and quitting this job and walking, I'd feel so ashamed of myself. Cause like, I mean, how can you turn down something like that? You know, I mean, love, I mean, they say money is power, man, but man, I think love can conquer anything, man. You reach out there and reach into people's hearts, man, it's something else. And that's what keeps this place together. You know, man, I know I'm kind of a little off the track of what you asked, man, but I just had to say that, you know.
You had a chance to really experience after really coming here. I know what you mean.
Yeah. And it wasn't so much as coming in here working for him, man. It's great because I'm working with him. I'm not working for him. I'm working with him. You know, we're working together. That's what this place is, man. Everyone's working together. No one's working for anybody. We're working together. And that's the difference. You know, you go get a job, man, you work for him. You know, who do you work for? I work for him. You know what I'm saying? It's not that way here, man. It's not we work for who or we work for what. We work together.
Anything, Dave, that you think I should cover that I might not have?
I guess not. I mean, the only thing I was thinking of was, and I don't know if it's relevant. You can tell me, Ellison.
Mm-hmm.
That here's what we're gonna do, and whoever wants to come with me, or not, you know, whoever wants to help out, come on. And
all it wasn't so much as organizing the folks. All it was showing them that there's a chance and there was hope. You know what I'm saying? And just giving them some kind of boost, man. They organized themselves. That's all people need is a chance to make a change. You know, that's all. I mean, sometimes you get some rotten apples in that barrel, man, but man, they organized themselves. I guess you could say was a person who was able, you know what I'm saying, who stepped forward and made that, you know what I'm saying, to make that decision to get out there and put myself on the line for them and to get them that opportunity, man. But once it got started, and I got people out there, I got, you know, all the materials and everything out there, they organized themselves.
Yeah.
That's all that was. And see, that tells me a lot. You know, actually, I mean, it doesn't so much as tell a lot, it shows a lot. You know, action speaks louder than words, man. And hey, it was there. I mean, even on camera, I mean, hey, people was doing it. People was doing it.
That's one thing Alex was saying a little while ago about how he was able to cut, you know, a lot of fellas over there, or women, whoever, there's a lot of folks over there, and, you know, a lot of them doing wrong or doing this and that, and he said that he could touch, well, there was a good side to him, there's a good part to a lot of those people, and he was able to touch the good part just on the basis of who he was and how he related to him. And to me, that's a real important point. First of all, that he says that there is a good part, number one, and number two, that he can touch it, because a lot of people outside that community,
because I'm there with
they're looking at it, those are just project people, period. You know, I know the police, without, you know, I'm not trying to down out the police,
man.
but they have the attitude that anybody that's under 25 years old that lives in Valencia Gardens is a thug, or whatever word you want to use. And if you take that attitude and don't enlarge on it, then you're just writing them off. You're just saying, okay, well, these guys are just gangsters, and the hell with them.
That's right, because I want to.
That's, you know, they're human beings.
That's right, but I want to say one thing too, is that there's some people who are there who are bad, but I want to say this: just because people live in projects don't mean they're project people, man. They're human beings just the same as anybody. They just ain't got that chance to be able to have action at other things, you know, like other people do, you know. Just like we're there, man, but just because we live in projects don't mean we're project people. You know, hey, it ain't right to think that way. You know, which is a true me. I mean, because if I was to go for a job and this Caucasian guy came for a job, and it was just a place where it was just a lot of white folks, I think, you know, he'd have more of a chance of getting that job than I would, even if I had the experience, maybe, because I think just being that he was white, they'd probably have it already in their mind. Well, just because he ain't got the experience, we can teach him on-the-job training. You know what I'm saying? And it's wrong, man, because they never, you know, you never know. I might have been able to do it way better than he was and took control of something that saved them a lot of money. Anything. I'm just saying. You can't just, I mean, hell, because of this guy, they probably went bankrupt or something. You know, they ain't right, man. It ain't right.
Yeah, I sure hope you can help me put this video together. Because you got some great ideas.
I was going to say, I didn't know anything I was going to say. Once you came and we just said it, man, it just like, pow. I also want to say that I don't want people to see just because there's people out there selling dope, they're the problem. See, the problem started, if we'd had a job in the first place, it'd never turned to this. And it's not the thing that people are out there selling dope, that they're the problem. It's not. Some people are out there just trying to make a living, just the same as the policeman is. And the problem isn't them. It's the people who's even letting the drugs in America. That's the problem. Who's even letting it in? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if they wanted to stop it, they could really stop it if they wanted to. You know what I'm saying? But it all started, you know, the brief phrase, it all started. I think it all has to do with racism. Because, man, I watch a lot of programs on Channel 9. My father told me, yeah, watch Channel 9, man. It's a good channel. You learn a lot of things. And when I seen, not too long ago, man, about a couple weeks ago, really hurt me, man, because it was like, damn, I was always taught no matter what nationality or what religion you are, always be proud of who you are. There was this thing about people in South Africa, and this little black girl said she wished she was white. She said she wished she was white, man, because, they asked her, they said, why? They said, because, white people have a lot of opportunities, and we don't have that. I wish I was white. And I was like, damn. And she was just little, you know what I'm saying? She wasn't supposed, man, she was supposed to be, man, it'd have been different if she'd have said, you know what, we're struggling out here, but I'm still proud of who I am, because black is a beautiful color, you know what I'm saying? But one day, you know what I'm saying, God's going to be there for us, you know what I'm saying, like he is always with others, but one day, we'll be able to have that freedom just like anybody else, and it's like, damn, and I think it all has to do with racism, man, because, see, as long as the drugs was out there where the minorities could reach it, we're going to kill each other off. And that's what they want to see. There was also a white kid on there. He said they didn't understand why, they don't really like black people because they're always talking about how much they want to be over white people. It's not that. It's just that they fight more than white people, you know what I'm saying? More than what white people see. It seems like more than what white people try to keep the you know what I'm saying, minorities down. The minorities are even fighting even harder to even get to where they feel they're at. So it seems like they're trying to be over the white people, but they're not. All they're trying to do is just get to where they should be. You know what I'm saying? Everyone should be treated equally. And so when you get this drug out there where the minority can get into where we're killing each other off, it was okay. The only time they started saying that crack was a problem was once you started getting to the suburbs and where the white man can get a hold of it. You see, that's when they started saying it's a problem. You see what I'm saying? But wasn't there a problem when this brother killed that brother? You know what I'm saying? You never even seen it on the news. As soon as you seen it on the news, it was because, yup, it's spreading to the suburbs. This has really gotten to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's wrong. So I think, see, and Bush and Noriega was kind of cool. They're friends. They knew each other for years. You see what I'm saying? So I think what happened, see, they told Noriega, all he got to do is step down from power. All the money he made from selling dope, he can walk with his money. Just step down from power. But it wasn't about money anymore. He had money. It wasn't about money no more. It was power. It was power. That's all it was. So they were threatened. See, so that's it was like they were trying to get. I think this is how it goes. They were trying to get him to keep from getting that drug over here because their plan backfired. Now I ain't saying Bush planned it, but now it all starts from before the white man period intended for that to happen. And by him being president, him knowing Noriega and letting it come in and all that, that's where he come in, and he was wrong. And see, the thing about it is that I think the whole thing of them getting him was just to knock him down from power. He's in jail now. But I seen this paper, yes, he should be convicted because of these reasons. No, he should not be convicted because of these reasons. And the reasons why he should not be convicted is because they were wrong the way they took him. So either he's going to get away because of those charges, or they're going to find a way to where they can, keep him, but he's going to die quickly. They're going to get him, watch, I bet you, because he knows too much. And everything he knows can incriminate them, and everything could just it could be a real big problem. You know what I'm saying? And that all has to do it. Everything that happened, man, had I think led from one thing: racism. It started from here and just went, spread it out different branches and went like this, and just next thing you know, it was a big old problem. But it all started from this right here. And that's man. The problem ain't the people who's out here selling drugs, man. The problem is the people who's even letting it in here. And I was told, I may be wrong, but supposedly statistics say that even if they stop the drug from coming in, there's so much drug here that it can last for 10 years. And that I did that, saying, when, a partner of mine told me who works here at Glide too, and that, man, that's just a trip. But if they really wanted to put a stop to it, I think, they could do it if they really, really wanted to. But It's money. You know what I'm saying? They're you know, just like they say, you know, just like some people, they get busted with an ounce of dope. They get time, man, at least a year, right? Now he's bad because he has dope. He got busted with dope. Does that make him bad? He's just trying to make a living. What about the president selling, you know what I'm saying, selling artillery to our enemies? Now I think that's even worse than selling dope. I mean, hell, you let the dope in. We're just doing what you let in here. You know what I'm saying? Just like you put something on the market in the store, you put this type of orange juice to be sold, hell, I'm going to buy it. You let it in, it just was getting sold. I guess you just, you know what I'm saying, we just doing your dirty work for you. That's all. But what about you selling, you know what I'm saying, artillery and ammunition and all this to our enemies? You know what I'm saying? I think that's the worst crime ever, and he's still sitting high and pretty. You know, so I just want to say one thing. Peace to everybody, man. Everybody, my family, me, myself, and the people. You know what I'm saying?
Did you ever get overtaken by it? I mean, to where you were totally a victim of it, and I mean, you didn't know who you were and all that?
I never I don't know, it's like, I'm not gonna lie, you know, but I'm still young. I'm only 21. I was young at one time. Everybody was young at one time. I smoked weed. I've got high on other drugs. I've drank, smoked cigarettes, everything. I stopped everything by the time I was 19, about 19 years old. I'm not gonna say what drugs. You know, for all I know, me starting here, later on in life, I might be somebody. I mean, we're all somebody. Everybody is somebody, but I might be somebody like high and important, and for all I know, this tape getting in the wrong people's hands, they try to use this to incriminate me. So I'm not going to say what, but I'm just going to say everyone has been young at some time in their life, and I just was unfortunate, man. I just didn't know what kind of drugs took over me. Now I'm 21, man. I don't do nothing. I don't do nothing, man. I drink occasionally. And I figure if I got to drink, you know, when it being that I drink occasionally, if it's an occasion, a good occasion that I have to drink, hell, let's drink to get drunk. But now, I got sick too many times, so I think I'm through with that too, man. I think I'm finished with it, you know. It's like, and it feels good, man. It's like, hell, I feel high now just because it's a good day. It give you that rush, and a natural high, man. That's it, man. My son and my family, what keeps me going, man, and everything's working fine for me. And I'm not about to stop. All the wrong that I've did to the people, I promise I'll try to make it up to you by changing things that I've done wrong, change it around for the good. But I'm not in it to tell nobody or to point out no names. That's not my job. All I'm trying to do is make people's homes better than what they were, you know what I'm saying? So they can appreciate where they live. Not to appreciate living in projects, but so they feel happier about their home. That's all. Make things easier and better for them. You know, that's it.
Start somewhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Got them big old holes in the gotta be in the mud.
dusty one. I like that dusty one.
Hey, okay, we ain't necessarily. What we're gonna do is what the house, what the painter guys suggested was we go court by court, do all the stairwells in one court. On the next one, next involved. And I didn't sign on this one. Good. You got the tags, no? I got the tags. All right.
Everyone got the tags, so why don't you go with it, Norman?
Rosemary, wait.
Put on my Alex.
Rosemary.
Rosemary!
You the man to sign up with?
Okay.
Question.
Okay, we better get signed up so what?
Let me go.
Hold on. Can we get a line this time? Hey, come on, let's form a line.
That's y'all form a line, man. It go easy.
One single line. What's up, my buddy?
Don't be fighting. Let's get a line going. Swing it around. Swing it around.
Maybe a picture.
Mama don't know shit.
Do you have to get in line? Look. He said, do you have to get in line to sign up? Come on, man. Come on.
Just hang tight over here.
Just go the other way.
My fault.
That's all right.
Then put that Alex sign your name.
Oh, you're gonna get left out.
I'll put a job ready. So I done went and got ready. Hell no, I ain't going Brother had 2 footballs to keep moving. No, so we know he is.
Yeah. I think I gave out some 2s. You did? Somebody got a 2. You think over here? I gave out a 2 at the church. Hey, where's your number? Here's your number. Let's get the first group. Well, the first one. We got two groups. Okay, good. Get the first group.
Y'all get the outside of my building before it started raining. Y'all didn't paint my building last week.
We got two more coming. We're gonna try 8 per group. We'll get there. Okay, come on, sweetheart. Number 1. Hey, come on down. Everybody gonna get it.
I know about it, Gina. She told me last night.
Right here again.
All the group 2's come in. Oh, I gotta get paper.
Bobby, make your hand.
Jim, God bless you. All part. I need to sign your name. Okay. All right, I'll get to sign your name. Come on, group 2, get your paint.
Get up, Peter.
Get your paint. Yeah.
Get busy.
This is the new
Hey, Barbara. Okay, you need one of these. You need...
I don't need this little one.
Let's go, group. We gotta go and get ready. We'll never get ready. Come on. It's taking too long just to get the paint. Come on, let's go.
All right, you ready?
Hey, Barbara. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Go to work. Come on, we're gonna be on video.
Wait a minute, hold on, come on. Hey, sister. Got 3 flights. Follow the jump off that. Hey, look. If you gonna paint, you gonna paint, okay? You got that? Give a group 1.
And do the last thing.
Don't worry about it, just do it. Okay, baby, don't worry about it, just do it. We're trying to get some work for y'all to do in the rain, okay?
All right,
All right. You got 3 here. They doing this, right? This is one, yeah. One thing that is on.
Up here, maybe you need to sit them down.
I got some here. From the man.
How about
Where'd you put the other drop cloths at?
They got 2 in the drop here. So, just tell each people, some of them go and get a drop and 2 will get and everything drop down. So we have to ship the drop down. See, like we got all these drops on the
Yeah.
Don't need all those. So you take the one up at the top.
Okay.
Come on, brother.
Yeah, you should do
I'm sitting the dude.
Now, I'll let them know that.
Can we get a piece of paper that if we don't have no more of these, at least get a piece of paper right on paper so we say what group
You didn't say that. You didn't even hear what he said.
Oh, they put in their pocket or something? Yeah, that's cool.
just so we know, they know what group.
That's why I said his father. He said, I'm serious.
All right,
Tear me off a piece of that. I'll start making that number.
One of them said if you look at the camera, right?
Sign it right there.
It'll go like this. Not you.
We got enough to make one more thing.
They got small.
We'll start giving them stuff to
Nicky up there.
We're gonna give you a piece of paper with numbers on
He
it.
got chopped.
Oh, here, let me get going.
Right up here. I get those. I get those.
Like he's filling out an application for something.
Oh, that's cold. How you do that?
So he's like, we ran out of name tag. We're going to give you a piece of paper with your number on it. Okay? So whatever group you in, keep that piece of paper on it. It will be checked on. Diddle it around.
See, y'all should act like you. Yes, they came to do both.
Get up here.
She can't rap now.
That's why I just want to see it.
Okay, he got some more candy.
It is if you ain't got nothing to do.
Look, paint's running down. Look, see? Paint's running down right here. Make sure you cover one section from your feet. But he's a good man, though. He's drunk, but he's a good man. You can just try to explain to him. No. I know, huh?
On my goddamn clothes. Attention.
I've seen that. Now I'm talking.
We don't have any papers for you to do. Do you want to get paid? You need to do what we asked you to do. I got a bag for you to pick up. Yeah, you all got enough. Everybody got enough to get a bag. Please.
Why you happy? Try to put this one.
What's up, brother, man? How you be, man? All right.
I'm gonna find out what's up now.
I hear people.
Number one. Put that right there, baby. I'm sorry.
Ouch.
That.
Wait, I'm like cute yet.
Right over there, I'll be laying in the other thing. We got lobster right here.
Okay, let's look. Don't dip your paper in the water.
Hey, Mom, this is Channel 7, all right?
Look. See how you go?
Yeah, I'm kidding. That's too sick, baby.
There we go.
It's about the, what is this about? Maybe I should get on the other side of you. Excuse me, I'm trying not to
What
get
is the
pain.
pain about? Pain is trying to get upside here. I don't want to be in it.
No, you won't be in it.
Well, I don't want to get too crazy because
Right, but maybe just for somebody who doesn't know.
I like what Glide Memorial is doing because they trying to make the place look better to me. I wish they could come in and paint my house, but it's a nice thing that they're doing. And they trying to.
But what are they doing? I mean.
Well, they're trying to get Valencia Gardens together and make it look like a presentable place now. Living area and stuff.
How long have you been living here?
Well, about 8 months now. And it seems like they're getting it together now.
Are you? Is everybody just volunteering or what?
Yes. Well,
Is this a job for everybody? Like they're getting paid? No.
Well, I mean, they paying the kids to give them they're paying the kids to help pay.
3 7-Ups and a Pepsi.
I think it's pretty nice what they're doing. It's helping it. I think it's helping the painters. They ain't got to do it. Oh, sure. I got no money on it.
No, I got it.
Yeah.
You used to live here?
I used to
Thank you.
in the basketball court. But it wasn't that bad out here. It was like quiet and nobody wasn't hardly doing that much drugs and stuff. And everybody was friends and not fighting and it wasn't that much gun shooting. But now they tore it up.
Yeah. Have me talking up.
So I have to move.
And the VJs, it was kind of worse, but we trying to make it better by painting the graffiti off. Because it's looking worse. It was looking worse, but since we painted it, it's going to look better. So don't forget group number 7. See, we number 4. See, we're the best. See, we ain't messing around like them people over there.
There's serious work in here. Who's over there? What's up?
Wow, what are we gonna do? Go on TV?
Yeah.
No, it's for him, you know, it's for the, he'll show up.
Do you have the audio on? Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, Lord have mercy, I'm so embarrassed. But I think it's great what Cecil has done to come and help us clean up our community. You know, it looks much cleaner, everyone cooperates, it's very nice. And that's all I got to say.
A lot of the kids out in trouble.
Huh?
It
keeps a lot of the children occupied, so they don't have other things going on in their mind, you know. And that's about it. I really don't have anything else to say. That was embarrassing enough.
No, it's great. Yeah, I see the kids and the adults. You know, it's really neat they're working together, and they're not just volunteering, but everybody's getting paid too. I mean,
Yeah. Well, my daughter's out here, and we didn't expect her to get paid. She was just coming out for fun.
She getting paid.
But she getting paid. I know Carmen said she gonna get paid because she was working her little fanny off. They just came and confiscated her little paintbrush.
They took her paintbrush?
Yeah, because they needed to get some corners. And she was the one that had the paintbrush. They gave it. No, don't. And then she goes, "Excuse me, I'll get this side now, Mommy. I need a little more paint." She be telling us. She been a real champ, real worker. And that's good because she owned it too. And she did her share.
What to do? Share your water this year.
Huh?
And that's gonna be on television? Oh, you wanna take some? No, let's take Where's Sean? Where's Sean? Where's Sean? Keep up. Oh, there you go. Where?
Actually, why don't we put new batteries in? Because these batteries, they're going to go out before he's finished. Let's see, I just want to get a sound check.
Yeah, testing 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. Testing 1 2 3 4 5.
Okay, let me turn it up a little bit more. Okay.
What you want me to just let me start off talking just a little bit,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
can pump
Yeah.
me a little bit if you want to. The so-called war on drugs, to me, is a misrepresentation of the real issues that we must confront in regards to how we're going to, in the 90s, confront winning the struggle, what I would call the struggle. It's not a battle, it's a struggle. The struggle of the war on addiction. It is not on drugs, it's on addiction. And whatever we do here at Glide is to point up the fact that to win this war is not to win a war, but to win the issue of addiction that we're faced with in especially America. The demand side is very severe in America.
The supply side is also, but nothing, I contend, like the demand side. I think more Americans by far use drugs than most people in any other country. It has been said that we are 5% in America of the population, but we consume 80% of the drugs in the world. So we're 5% of the world population, but we consume 80% of the drug population in the world, drugs in the world. Now my contention has been that what we really ought to be doing is not using weapons and war tactics and strategies to win this battle that we're talking about. That what we should be doing is basically confronting ourselves and confronting those things which put us in situations by which we find ourselves having to be obsessed by drugs. Why is it that we take drugs in the first place? Usually it's because we're trying to escape. We're trying to push our feelings down, our feelings that we don't want to get out, our feelings we don't want to get known, our feelings we don't want to feel. So what the critical issue is, it seems to me, is that those drugs are used usually to give us a false reality, to take us away from ourselves, our real and true selves. What I do is say without any hesitation that what we should be about is looking at the fact that a lot of people who are on crack cocaine, for instance, feel abandoned, they feel rejected, they feel unattached, they don't feel like they've got friends and family and loved ones. And finally, they feel shame. They feel ashamed and put down and low and unworthy and uncomfortable and out of it and away from it and on the outside. What commonly could be called the wretched of the earth, the outcast. Now what we should be doing then is dealing with people on the basis of those broken human lives by which they can begin to put the pieces together again. And so addiction to me is the critical issue. When we begin to talk about not only the kind of recovery groups that we have in Glide, but when we begin to talk about what we would do when we go to public housing, we saw it as an issue of recovery and not an issue of going to run people out of public housing and take away the public housing from people, but to take control. To take control, however, under the auspices and direction and what I think is correctly the way to deal with the issue through recovery. That's why we said it's recovery time. It's recovery time. So our thrust has been to pursue and engage in recovery. The pusher needs recovery. The user needs recovery. The residents who live in public housing need recovery. In fact, the whole housing project needs recovery. And so we saw the issues related to the loss of control and addiction as a means of pursuing recovery. It's recovery time. And so that's what we did. So we sent our messages out to this public housing project and said to the people, don't run, don't try to escape. You are our sons and daughters. Stay there. We love you. We need you. You need you. But we need you to have to look at who you are and what you're doing with your life. And basically what we were saying is, we're not there to run the pushers away. We're not there to say to pushers you're no good, and you are killing everybody, and you're killing yourself, and we're not there to put judgments upon pushers. What we're doing to say to pushers is that you need to look at yourself. You need to look at who you are and what you're about, and we're coming there merely to provide what we would commonly call, I guess, intervention. We're coming to so you can name your name, so you can say who you are, so you can say what you got, so you can say what you're going through, so you can say what you need, what you're confronting at this time. And so that's what our thrust was about. This whole direction, new direction by all means, and I don't think anybody else has done this in America, is to say to people in the public housing projects, you need recovery, and it's recovery time. So don't run, don't try to escape. Our sons and daughters need to come home, and we're coming home to our sons and daughters, wherever you are. We're coming to you, because we're coming ultimately and finally with unconditional love. And so our thrust was to come, and it's like the civil rights times. What we were really saying is we're coming nonviolently, we're coming with love, we're coming so that people can have control in their lives, they can take back control, they can relate to the control, they can stop denying, they can stop lying, they can stop putting on, they can stop pretending, they can have some definition in their lives, they can do something with their lives, and we came over so that people could begin to make decisions about doing something with their lives, rather than just being all anesthetized, rather than just being all drugged out. We came so that you could begin to look at the issue of drug addiction rather than having to go through the criminal justice system, to look at imprisonment, and to be put in jail and to be taken away from the community. We need you in the community. So we were trying to make sure that you stay in the community and recover, rather than have to go to jail or go to prison or go through some arena of the criminal justice system, which would make you almost be put in a position where you could not be a person who has the power to overcome and take control of your life.
I want to say something about how the project at Valencia Gardens got going, and
Yeah, okay.
with Alex coming in.
We started, of course, by calling a number of community groups, neighborhood groups that relate to people, either in prevention or the criminal justice system, or in health care, or treatment, or recovery, or just grandmothers groups, people who are gripped by the problem, parents and grandparents and all kinds of people who are having to go through the destructive river of this drug addiction. And we started by calling a lot of people together, and we've had at our initial meetings as many as 150 to 200 people trying to discover ways by which we could proceed to go into Valencia Gardens or any other public housing project so that we could create recovery. Now, what happened when we got there was, of course, it was a little tense. In fact, it was quite tense, because we had been told not to come. We'd been told that it would be best for us not to come. We'd been told that we would be shouted down and jeered and may in fact get hurt. But we decided that with some 600, 700, or 800 people, that we could stand together, we could march together, and we could go into a public housing project. And because of the magnitude of 700 or 800 people together, what we would do is create a human force which would in effect affect the people there. And that's exactly what happened. We were affected because we were singing freedom songs and church songs like Amazing Grace and songs that had spirit to them. And we went over and walked in the gardens, and then all of a sudden we began to shout and to cry out and to sing out and to speak out. And we said to the people, come on down, come on down, come on down and join us. Come on down, it's recovery time. And I think the magnitude, just so many, the fact that so many people were there was overwhelming. And so people, just those who were probably created antagonistic relationships with us, or who may have tried to create tension or friction, pulled back. And we knew then that we could go on with our program, which we did. We went on with our program. We had speakers. We exposed a number of people there who had been beaten and brutalized and misused, senior citizens and other folks. We got people who had, from smoke houses or crack houses right in the public housing project, brought them up on stage. They talked. We got the mayor of our city to speak. We got the director of public housing to speak. We got president of the Tenants Association, where we went. And by the way, it was very important to have the Tenants Association supporting our efforts of coming into the community. But what we came up on, which shocked us and surprised us, was the fact that we met a young man called Alex, and that's all I knew him by that day. In the latter part of the day, after we had finished our program and were eating good food, and by the way, we had good food, a lot of food. What happened was that one of my staff members came to me and said that some of the young men who were pushers would like to have a tape played over our PA system. I said, fine. And then he said to me, this may be the opening. And I said, you're right. The opening for what? The opening to talk to some of the young pushers. And that's exactly what I did. I moved over where they were and began to talk with Alex and some of the young men who were there. And as we talked, Alex said to me something like, and some of the others said to me, you know, you're making a circus out of all of this, out of all of us. It's just a circus. And I said, I disagree with you. It's not a circus. I planned this along with literally hundreds of people, and we're here to try to help people make decisions about their recovery. And nobody's pushing you. We're just here trying to say, you are sons and daughters, and we need to be together. And the more we talked, all of a sudden, Alex said to me, I'd like to take a picture with you. And I said, good. And that seemed to me to be a signal. If he wanted to take a picture with me, it meant that perhaps something was going to happen between us. So I took that signal, and we got a camera, and we took a picture together, and then other young men joined us in the picture, and the first thing we knew, there were about 10 of us in the picture. And I said, this is really good stuff. And then I said to Alex, you know, we can do business. And he said, well, let's talk. And he said, I need to talk with you. And I said, I'd like to talk with you. So we set up a date. 3 days later, Alex came at the time that he said he would be here. And when he walked in my office and began to talk, I knew then that he was a young man who was ready to turn his life around. And I knew also that there are young men and young women out there in the public housing projects who are ready to stop. They want to turn their lives around. But we've got to be there to give them the opportunity. But we've got to also be there to make sure that they don't miss the opportunity of turning their lives around. So what we did was we literally said to young people and to anybody who's selling, we are here. If you are ready, we're ready. And we will always be ready because you belong to us and we belong to you. And so we're not going to give up. The way to win the battle of addiction is to be there where people are addicted and to make sure that people have ways when they get ready to come off, that they got a place, they got a trusting relationship, they got something going with people where they can move to make the decision of stop denying and stop being dishonest and open up then to a changed life.
You mentioned the importance of the Tenants Association.
All right.
And talk a little bit about that.
All right. One must be mindful of the fact that we have a very strange combination working for us in the public housing project. First of all, you've got the Tenants Association. Secondly, you've got an outside group of people, a large number of people who come into play. And thirdly, you've got people who are involved in illicit drug selling, and they're there continuing their old ways, selling drugs. And some of them who are ready to quit and change their lives and change the course of their certainly their lives, you got to be there ready when they're ready, as I said earlier. And you bring those three forces together, those who are coming out of not selling anymore, the people who are from the outside, like a lot of us were, and then the Tenants Association. So it's kind of an odd situation. But then we brought in the Housing Authority. So you've got the director and his staff of the Housing Authority. You got the Association. You've got an outside group of community group-based groups coming together. Plus you've got ex-pushers. And that is very critical. I would say that it's very important to have a tenants association, to have people on the inside who are there as residents, who are sick and tired of all of the destructive forces that come into play in their lives every day. The fact that many of them feel as though they are in prison themselves, that they can't go out and have their children play in where there's recreation in a public housing project, that they're always frightened and fearful for their lives. And it's important to have a tenants association there. And Colleen Williams was critical to our winning the battle, if that's the case. She was critical for us coming together, for us putting things together. And she's been critical and will be critical in her association. That's why it was easier to move, for instance, with the public housing project, so that we could paint Valencia Gardens. It's easier when you've got resources to draw upon. That's why it's important to set up programs, have programs that are ready to be set up. So when you go in there, you got something to offer folks, rather than just going in there with your hands up saying, we're here shouting and screaming and singing, but we don't have anything to offer. You've got to have something to offer. And so when you've got a Colleen Williams, the president of the Tenants Association, ready to move and taking hold of things and making things happen also, plus you've got ex-pushers who are ready to move and making things happen, and you've got a director of a public housing project and others who are saying this is critical, it's important, and we support it, and we're going to be there, plus a large number of people from the outside. It seems to me that it makes a viable, powerful expression of resources, both human and technical, bringing them together. And when you bring that together, there are possibilities of dealing with addiction on the level that we should, and dealing with recovery on a level that will humanize us that will make us more powerful, and that will hopefully bring us to a point where we can go on and walk together, children, and not get weary.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Okay.
And if you can't, I do have one last
I
thing,
can't.
and it's just for people who don't know you or know
Okay,
of you.
okay.
Kind of,
All right.
what your personal interest is.
All right. I'm Cecil Williams, Minister of Liberation at Glide United Methodist Church. I've been at Glide United Methodist Church for over 25 years. Glide is a church composed of 40% white and 40% black and about 20% Hispanic and Asian Americans. It is about 57% composed of homeless people. We have people from some of the richer communities in the Bay Area, and we have many from the poor areas of the Bay Area. This church is one that tries to stay on the cutting edge, on the forefront, and we try to be, as Martin Luther King would say, be drum majors. In this critical drug destructive phenomena, we have brought together recovery groups for our people. We have worked day and night trying to make sure that that recovery is sustained and that it is helpful and healthy and vibrant and alive. Recovery here is an all day and all night situation. I got involved in this 3 years ago because, in one sense, I was pushed into it. There were so many people coming to Glide. We feed 3,000 people a day here, and so many of those people that were coming to Glide were on